Good evening, everyone. This is Gil of Camp Patton Family Compound. With me tonight, got Tammy at Rebel Canners and Mark at Chef Tech. And we're here for the Monday Night Fireside Chat. And tonight's topic, canning ground beef with seasonings and flavorings and all sorts of cool stuff. So how y'all doing out there? All right, so yeah, okay. We got a lot more people in here. We got people that are lurking, but as you can see the banner going across the bottom, lurking is flying. But please just check in, say hi, say lurking, whatever. Don't forget the thumbs up on whoever's channel you're listening to. All right, let's go over here to say hi to everybody. So the first one in, Tammy, the first one in on your channel was almost 12 hours. Well, no, it was almost 13 hours ago.
Oh, wow.
Ernie Hatmaker.
Oh, hi.
So I haven't seen her comment again since, but she said this. She says looking forward to this, and so she may be showing up here shortly. Next one in was Walt Rogers, then Phelan Clan Wolf, Shady Hill Homestead, Mother Earth Garden Club, and of course, Mad Chick Acres, evil twin.
I went Diana to the dark side. I'm over on Tammy's side now.
Diana Two's here. Let's see. Diana Two's on both sides now. And so I went and threw a blue wrench at Mother's Garden Club.
Oh, good.
And she's been here so long. She's a channel member now, so she gets a blue wrench. Angels, if you want Angels Homestead, if you want a blue wrench, let me know too. Tammy Harder is in here. Angels is in here. Kaylin Strain is in here. What Life came in on your side, Tammy?
Oh, thank you.
Geeky Gardens is here. Penny Ortiz is here on your side.
Hi, Penny.
Lady Hill Homestead is on both sides. Woo-hoo. And let's see, Ada Nair's in here. And all right, we caught up with everyone that's making comments. And we actually have one giving a thumbs up to you off of Facebook.
Oh, welcome wherever you are. I can't see it from.
They're not saying anything. It just shows up here in the top up here for me. It shows 21 people watching, one thumbs up Facebook.
Nice. I should have watched this out on the computer, but
yeah. So tonight's kind of is blamed. I blame these two for helping me to do stuff, and as I started experimenting, we need to do a live stream on what some of the stuff I'm doing, and that is ground beef with seasonings or flavorings or whatever, however you want to put it.
Just keep getting those deals at that big box store, Gil.
Yeah. And so it's so got three tabs of this stuff for you guys. So get your pencils and paper out, and if you want to start writing. The first two is just things to remember. One, it's to quicken your prep time when you're making meals. And knowing the way my family used to get together with all the cousins and stuff, it would have saved us a lot of time if we had been doing this and had several quart jars to dump it. I mean, several quart jars to jump out in the big pot and just start, doing it and be able to boom, because all of a sudden people would just show up at the house. And when we were over with my grandmother, would just show up, and it's like everybody was jumping in, scrambling. We had like 4 people cooking in the kitchen, and everybody else doing everything else. And yeah, so quickening your prep time is an excellent reason to do this.
These are my fast food ideas. When I need something fast, these are it's almost all done fast food ideas.
And of course, we got the one word of warning there. Don't use sage.
Well, you can. You may not like the outcome.
Yeah, you may wind up with 1 quart of this. Whoa, I got to add 12 more quarts to it to dilute this age down.
It's the bitterness. It makes it so bitter. It gives it a bitter aftertaste to me.
Just out of curiosity, has anybody figured out a way to cancel that bitter aftertaste, adding something else to it?
No, it's like trying to cancel salt. You can't cancel salt. Too much salt is too much salt. Sorry for your bad luck. Add 16 more gallons to it to maybe reduce it, but it probably won't help.
Yeah. Oh, Little Lone Pepper's in here now. And Kaylin's saying, just one.
No.
Not even one.
You're better off burning it to keep the evil spirits away.
Yeah. That's the only thing sage is good for when you're canning.
Yeah.
Burning it on the side.
You're burning sage. You got your incense going. Evil spirits stay away, so the canning process works. All right. So I've done the next 2 here. I've done several sessions of adding taco seasoning to the ground beef and canning it up, because that's what my boys and me, my wife all love. Onion soup mix. I've done a 1 batch of that. Then of course, some of the other things we came up with was, a mushroom mix, whether you're, for seasoning, make like a mushroom beef stock type base for doing whatever it is you're going to do.
I dehydrate a ton of mushrooms. Whenever I can get mushrooms on clearance at the store, I grab them all. I dehydrate them. I make a mushroom powder, and that mushroom powder goes on a lot of my beef stuff. And so I'm not really talking about, for myself here, a cream of mushroom soup kind of thing. I am really literally talking about beef and mushrooms. It makes it so much richer.
Cool. Len Baum just came in on your side.
Welcome.
And so those over on Tammy's side there, say hi to each other.
I said hi to Penny over there.
All right, guy got a question in here, and yes, it is.
Yes, and you
very much so.
And if you want, I have some ground turkey in the refrigerator right now. It is like paste. It was not like it was like twice ground, maybe 3 times ground.
No, it's pureed.
Yeah, it looks like the pink slime from McDonald's. But no, don't laugh, because you can take that and you can add your beef broth. You can add your onion soup mix. You can add your mushroom mix and a hearty dose of Worcestershire sauce. And my family cannot tell that it is not beef in any of these recipes.
Right.
Cool. All right. Tammy Ortiz on your side there. Tammy says, I've always used potato to help with too much salt. I've heard that before about adding potato. It'll draw the salt out.
Yes. Good luck.
Sometimes
when the top falls off the salt container that you're just sprinkling in there, all of a sudden you went from two teaspoons to 12 tablespoons. Whatever you can scrape off the top. If you were mixing it when you did it, potatoes may take a little bit of salt out, but they're not going to pull the salt. That's like the old, you scorch the pot of tomato sauce. Smear peanut butter on it. That was a really old wives' tale. It's like peanut butter. Just don't stir the bottom. It was to hide to keep the carbon from mixing. It was stupid. People came out with these things back in the 70s and 80s, and whether they did it or not, who the heck knows? I never tried it. You scorch the pot, you dump your sauce into another pot and keep cooking it. Just turn the heat down.
Yeah. Sounds like you did that. That's coming from experience there. About the lid of the salt cup falling off in there.
Yeah, it wasn't the lid of the shaker. It was the plastic container with the whatever food service size salt. Oof. And you take the one side, you open the one side where it's the sprinkle side, and then the other side wasn't latched all the way, and it just pops open and just dumps. You're like, really? Now you're looking for a ladle as fast as you can as this stuff is boiling to try to scoop out whatever salt you can still assume where it is. But the first time you put that ladle in there, you just mixed way too much salt in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's I learned that a long time ago, back when I was a little tyke, cooking with my grandmother. You never put the salt container over the
Do it in your hand.
In your hand or in a dish.
In your
Same with
hand, or
eggs.
you use the spoon and you scoop it out and you over with the spoon and you dump the spoon. That also keeps the salt away from the steam coming off the cooking.
Yes, you don't need clumpy salt.
No, same with
Clumpy
eggs.
salt.
I watch people cracking, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I was cracking 30 dozen eggs into a 5-gallon bucket daily, but I didn't have time to look at every egg. We just assumed they were all good. If you saw one go in there that was bad, you dump the whole thing in the trash. But I watch people, it's like, oh, I need 12 eggs, so they're cracking it, and the 11th egg goes into the big pot with the rest of the eggs, and a nasty brown one just went in there, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, throw it out. You can't scoop that out. One bad egg, one bad apple ruins the tree. Or ruins the bushel. That's all it takes.
All right. Next thing up here, an herbal mix. Depending on what you want, my wife has a bunch of herbal seasoning packets. Well, beef, a couple different ones for beef, a couple different ones for chicken, a couple different ones for pork. And different seasonings, herbal seasonings change the whole flavor and the whole parameter of the meal. So
make sure there's no sage in there.
Yeah, no sage.
Refer to number 2.
Yeah. So if you're doing herbal mixes, make sure you have a card, lines on, one of those around saying, all right, so this is number 1 has this, and this on it. Number 2 has this, and this, and put that number on the lid. Write that number on the lid with permanent marker so you know what it was used, what's in there. And then you tape that card to the inside door of the cabinet they're in.
Yeah. Or, actually just write on the lid everything that's in there. So,
or be me and make your own and don't put sage in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except like chicken seasoning.
Yeah. One of the things my wife does is she takes ground beef, she adds a can of beef consomme soup, and some other seasonings, which I got the recipe written down somewhere here in one of the cupboards. And basically she cooks that up, boils up some broad egg noodles, plops the noodles on the plate, throws a scoop of the beefy consomme stuff on top of it. Oh, and she makes a gravy with it, on top of it. And our 2 boys go back for thirds and fourths.
That's it. That's just your most basic casserole beef.
Yeah, exactly.
Ground beef with a gravy and some seasonings and a bunch of noodles, and throw some cheese on there, and now you got cheeseburger casserole.
Yeah.
And if you're really fancy, put some breadcrumbs on, and then the cheese, and then brown it in the oven.
Yeah.
Ooh. So one of the things to do to remember on this is you're not making the gravy while you're canning it. You're getting everything else ready. So you dump the jar into the frying pan and to make the gravy in there.
Well, you can. You just have to, instead of flour, you have to use clear gel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not instant clear gel. I did that accidentally once.
No, not the instant. You got to have the
instant is literally what it says. You start putting it in there, instant clumps, and it doesn't break back down. I'm like, really? I bought the wrong clear gel.
Yeah, no. Ooh.
All right. Let's see. And then I've done 3 batches now? 4 batches of the chili seasoning mix that I've canned, and about 20 that I've just frozen, and grandkids are going through it as fast as they can.
Yeah, it's not worth canning if they're going to eat it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I put some. I want to have some in there, so I still got 40. No, I got some more, so I'm back up to 40 pounds of ground beef in the freezer. So I'm gonna, as I go through and get it all done, there will be some frozen in containers in the glass containers I can pull out, let it thaw out, and then microwave it for them. But
so if people like that I forget what it's called. It's like the Mexican cheese dip you have at parties in a crock pot. So queso. But with the beef in it, you do beef and salsa together. You can that, and then you just dump it in your crock pot with whatever can of cheese sauce you found at the supermarket or whatever. Mix it all together, and it's got beef in there. So
and Tammy's going to say about canning the sauce.
I can my own cheese sauce, or recan my own cheese sauce.
Yep. I've done it.
I can my own what is
Salsa.
it? No.
Rotel.
Rotel, and I can beef tips, but they're actually venison. And I just drain the venison, throw the Rotel in my cheese sauce, and in less than 15 minutes, the time it takes to warm it up, I've got queso.
Yeah. So stroganoff and Romanoff are some of the different hamburger helpers we've always gotten. And so I forget, one of them has mushrooms, one of them doesn't.
Stroganoff has mushrooms.
Okay. Stroganoff has the mushrooms, Romanoff doesn't.
Yeah.
I wonder why I like Agent Romanoff from from Shield.
And I can beef tips in just beef consomme. And then when I open that up, I put some heavy whipping cream in there, pour that over top of my cooked noodles, and I have instant stroganoff in 5 minutes.
Yeah. And a little mushroom powder.
Oh my! Well, I have mushrooms in my beef tips too.
Oh, in your beef tips, okay.
Yeah. Because I plan to make a lot of stroganoff. It's something that
don't try to can sour cream in anything. It doesn't work.
I don't really use sour cream either. I like heavy cream, but
I like sour cream. Baked potatoes are just an excuse for eating sour cream.
Yeah.
Because you look funny eating it with a spoon. Because I've done it. I still do it.
That's what the Dorito chips are for, Bart.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. You were using a spoon. You should have just had the Dorito chips out there.
You know what the
Actually,
definition
with what's in Doritos, I found out lately. No, you just want to get plain restaurant style tortilla chips.
Yeah, you don't want to eat Doritos. There's more chemicals in Doritos than you want anything to do.
If you overdose on Doritos, there's a report came out. They tested on rats. They overdosed the rats on Doritos. Their skin started becoming translucent.
Ew.
See-through. Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Make your own Doritos. Moral of that story is make your own Doritos. They're not that hard.
Exactly. Hamburger helper flavorings. When our boys and our daughter were preteen and teens and stuff, we went through so much hamburger helper because at the time, my wife was getting it for 10 boxes for $10 and sometimes 12 boxes for $10 on sale. And it was just super cheap. And all of a sudden the price went up and she goes, okay, I'm going to figure out how, imitation copy of the recipes of some of the favorite stuff and do that. But if you have family members, including nieces and nephews and cousins that love hamburger helper, find out what their favorite ones is. And here's a couple quarts for Christmas or for your birthday.
I did brownie mix in quart jars this week. I got a video coming out.
Okay, got more people rolling in here. B. Hendricks is in here. Kaylin says Doritos is a fire starter.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
they burn. They smell funny when they burn, but they burn.
They're greasy.
No.
They burn hot.
They don't seem greasy, but they are greasy.
Yeah. All right. And then of course beef teriyaki.
Yep.
Who has not made beef teriyaki one way or another, either with ground beef or with strips of like the fajita strips.
Yeah. So I get it like a loin, and
Yeah.
then I slice it thinly, and then I put a lot of vegetables in with my beef teriyaki mix.
Yeah. Actually, the ground beef I did, it looks pretty good, and the grandkids went after it. So, I did a couple videos. Tammy was on the videos with me on my other channel, Gray Man Prepping. There's a playlist over there called Prepper Canning or Canning for Preppers. And I got a couple of the videos over there of how I did it and stuff. And there's even some video just on the prep on how I took 10 pounds and seasoned it up and put it in a crock pot and overnight, and in the morning after it, it looked, I thought it was going to look like pink slime or whatever, but no, it comes out looking pretty good.
It doesn't look appetizing in the freezer either, but I put it in there too. So just
All
put
right,
that on the
next
back of your shelf and then move your strawberry jam in front of it. That's it.
All right. Beefy bolognese.
Yeah, bolognese.
Beef bolognese.
Bolognese. Okay, I know the G was silent. Bolognese.
Bolognese is just it's a red sauce.
Yeah.
It's
So
basically
you're
my
basically it's meat sauce, but bolognese generally also has pork in it.
Yeah.
True, like French bolognese. I do ground beef and pork when I make my meat sauce anyway, and I can it because that's the
I
way
used
we
to do
like.
I used to do a 50-50 mix that I get really cheap at a local meat market. Now
Right.
now that I'm kind of trying to be beef pork free, I just do it with ground beef. It's my spaghetti sauce. So I have the spaghetti sauce all ready to go with my ground meat in it. And I love having it that way.
Oh, I've canned up sausage. I call it sausage sauce. I use hot Italian sausages. Push them out of the little tubes. Cook it up, ground, it's ground sausage meat, and cook that up. And I make my sauce with that extra spicy because one of my daughter's boyfriends back in the day liked really spicy sauce. He liked the sauce. So I canned up a bunch of jars for her to have at college, and they ate it. She didn't like it. It was too spicy.
I lost one here. Kaylin put this in a minute ago. I wanted to wait until I got down past the
Yes.
the one. But yeah, so curry, there's a whole another batch right there of Indian foods. But of course, the Indians don't like, the real, cross the ocean Indians don't like beef, but they don't like to
They
eat
do
beef.
a lot of chicken. You could do the butter chicken sauce. There's good recipes for that out there.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back here to make sure I caught up on the thing. Now, with the seasoning, everyone's saying seasoning add more color. One thing I noted that really kind of adds more color rather than using water in with it is when adding and when I'm cooking it up in the crock pot and to put in the jars is to use beef bouillon or beef broth.
Yeah, I always use beef broth. I don't.
Yeah, that kind of darkens it up.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here.
Also, make sure a lot of these you're going to be cooking it, par cooking it, just to make it brown on the outside so that it holds its shape, whatever shape that is that you want, whether it's meatballs or patties or ground beef.
Yeah, if you're going to do meatballs, make your own.
You brown it first before you put it in your recipe, even if you're raw packing. You don't want to cook it all the way, but you do want to brown it. That'll help too.
And if you're going to do if you're going to can meatballs, make your own. Because the crap, we buy meatballs for certain things at certain holidays and that. And I read the ingredients. I'm like, really? It's just most of these meatballs have garbage in them.
Yeah, you're 3 ahead here, Mark. We'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So barbecue beef. However, if you're doing a barbecue beef, either beef tips, strips. Or ground beef, the barbecue sauce should not have sugar in it. Yeah. So make your own sugar-free that tastes great without sugar in it, and you're good.
Tammy, why shouldn't I put sugar in my barbecue sauce when I can it?
Well, you can put sugar in your barbecue sauce and can it if you're going to water bath it for a shorter period of time. But if you're going to put it in your barbecue beef and you're going to do it in the pressure canner for 90 minutes, it's going to burn.
All right. Yep. And Kaylin says with the barbecue beef, pulled beef too. Yes. And I've done that with taking a bottom round, put it in the crock pot overnight, and carefully with spoons to drain it, pick it up, go to put it in a thing, and it just kind of falls apart like it's ready to be sauced.
Yeah.
Okay, meatloaf. So you can put it in wide mouth quarts, a pint and a half pints for single servings.
Wide mouth pints.
Yeah, everything's wide mouth.
Yep.
And
then I take a chopstick and I go down the center and I make a hole, just so that it has more room to circulate. Or you can use a wooden spoon to make a hole in the center. Then the juices and stuff can circulate through there better, and the grease can drain off better.
All right. We're going to get to that, Hendrix, in just a second here. Then there's burrito filling. And, whatever you want in your burrito fillings, there's a dozen different ways of seasoning it. I just like putting taco seasoning in there. That way you use the taco seasoned ground beef in burritos, quesadillas, tacos.
I got a burritos in a jar recipe that even includes the brown rice. So I literally is everything that goes in your burritos except the lettuce.
What about the tomatoes?
Canned lettuce?
It has the tomatoes in it.
My
wife
wife,
put my rotel in there.
My wife hates cooked tomatoes in her burritos. She so she adds tomatoes after fresh tomatoes on top with the lettuce, cheese, rolls it up quickly and eats it quick before the tomatoes get whatever it is.
The tomatoes I do in that are sauce. They're not actual tomatoes. I put my rotel sauce in my burritos for the juice in the jar.
All right. So we got burritos and the meatballs. Yeah, all the different types of meatballs. And
sweet and sour. You can do Italian. I love to do meatballs in my spaghetti sauce. And then I open a jar of that up. I heat it up. I put it on the sub buns. And in 5 minutes, I have meatloaf sandwiches. I can throw some sliced cheese on there, put them under the broiler. And I got meatball subs in 5 minutes, 10 minutes at my house. It's one of the quickest meals. And my boys just love it.
I've actually never done that. Made my own meatballs, canned it in my sauce to have meatball subs ready, or just meat sauce.
You can have meatball subs in like just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, throw it in a microwave or in a pot, heat it up, and throw them on a bun.
And like I said, I throw cheese. I still do sliced cheeses, the good, not the American processed crap, but really good sliced cheese on top. Throw it under the broiler, and literally,
or whatever mozzarella.
I butter the buns, put all that in there. And then,
and I know if you like you make meatballs and then you just throw it in the sauce to have meatball subs, the meatballs are firm, and so I like that to a point. But if you can the meatballs, they absorb a whole lot more of the juice, so they're nice and soft. So when you bite the bun, 2 meatballs don't go flying out the other end of the bun and roll across the floor. Yes, that happened to me in a restaurant once. It was actually hysterical. It was their meatballs; they were huge. Yep. I bit one end of this long sub, and a meatball fell out, bounced off the table, hit the floor, and rolled across the floor. The owners lost it laughing. And I'm sitting there about crying because there's only 4 meatballs on this 12-inch sub. They were huge. Mm-hmm. And so she was nice. She grabbed another meatball out of the pot and came over and handed it to me. She's like, here's your meatball.
All right. With the meatballs, I totally forgot about this. You guys started talking about other stuff with it. Oh, it's been 40 years ago when I was working for Mountain Cascade Construction. Tommy Lara, who was he had a choice: be a professional chef or be a heavy equipment operator. He chose heavy equipment operator and became a amateur chef on the side. He brought into work one time when we were having potluck on a Friday, some Mexican meatballs.
Ooh.
And he said, guys, these are not your mother's meatballs. These will light you up if you're not careful. A lot of the guys were cussing him out because they were so good they couldn't stop. You'd be like some of his salsa stuff. You like the chips and salsa he made. He brought in you go, oh, this is so good. All of a sudden, oh, I need another scoop. The meatballs were the same way. You eat it. Oh man, this is fantastic. I'll say, Tommy, what you put in here, Tommy? Oh, I gotta have another one.
Yeah.
So there's some, and I know there's probably Thai. There's probably some good Thai recipes the same way for meatballs. Of course, it might be water buffalo though, but.
And then also for meatballs, I also can them just in beef broth or in water, and I drain that off, and then I can do my barbecued meatballs in a crock pot. I can do my meatballs with cream mushroom soup on top for my noodle casserole thing that I do. I can do add extra meatballs into my spaghetti if one kid feels cheated on the number of meatballs they got, or we have more people. I can do a lot of different things with them. I can take them out and I can quick throw them in the broiler with my grape jelly and make the grape jelly porcupine meatballs that everybody, so there's a lot of different ways you can use them. You also have to brown them before you put them in the jar so they hold their shape.
Yeah, for me, I don't brown them in a pan. Because if I'm making meatballs, I'm making a couple hundred meatballs. If I'm going to make a mess, I'll make one mess. And I throw them on sheet trays and throw them in the oven and bake them, shake the tray around a little bit because you always get that one brown flat spot on there. And then I'll throw it down, and then I do whatever. Usually I just freeze them, or it's for a party I'm prepping for that's next week or the week after.
Yeah. And you don't want to cook these all the way through. You're just trying to brown the outside so they hold their shape. You're cooking them in the canner. So this is just a quick sear. It is not, I want these cooked and then I'm freezing them and then I'm going to bring them out and reheat. It is just sear them.
You just reminded me of something. Back when I was an early teenager, the German chefs at my grandfather's catering company had the ovens that had big wolf ovens in there with a full broiler over it, and they put steaks in there, they put the meatballs in, anything they wanted to get a quick browning on.
They're called salamanders.
Yeah.
And so you just stick it in the big oven there, up on the highest shelf up, put it in there, and a couple minutes later they pull it out, put the next tray in.
Yep.
All right. So the last one here, and then I'm going to jump over to the one of B. Hendricks was talking about. We're going to talk about that as well. Italian seasoning mix. Besides Italian seasoning, and we all know what Italian, everyone that has a favorite Italian seasoning mix, but then there's Mexican seasoning. There is Spanish seasoning, two different Puerto Rican seasoning, Portugal, Thai, Japanese, you name it. Every culture has their different type of their culture specific type seasonings. And if you find one you like, go for it. Let us know how it works out. What works out good. Now, before I go up there, Caitlin posted one other one here.
Chorizo, yep. Or samosa. Yeah. Samosa would be good too.
And I could just imagine hearing. I could just imagine hearing Joe, Garden State Gardener, with some of the stuff he would like to put on it, because he likes his
he likes his heat. Bring on the habanero.
Yes. Oh yeah, he likes the heat and stuff, but his pierogies and stuff. And he talks about the different things in his pierogies too. So you can use all that seasoning and stuff in ground beef.
Yes.
Or sliced beef or whatever. All right. All right, so I'm going to get that. Go back up here. So where is it here? I'll find the right one here. There it is. Boom. There's the question.
I have not done it personally. I have helped other people do it. My former partner, his mom canned her own dog food. She would make it every day, and I'm like, we could just can some of this up. And so she had her recipe that was suggested by her vet for the size of her dog. And it was ground meats, different ones, and brown rice and green beans. But you can add any fruits or vegetables that are safe for dogs. So no onions, no garlic, and you can, take any of that meat scraps and can it and have canned dog food. And it does the same time as it does for humans because of the meat in there. If it's more than 50% meat, you want to do the meat times of 90 minutes. If it's less, you would do the soup times for 60 minutes for quarts, less for pints. Depends on how big your dog is. I don't know. I use quarts were better because then you get 2 meals out of 1 jar and you're going to feed them twice a day. So, it's up to you how you do it.
What I do is I'll buy, and I did this the most recent, but now my German Shepherd's on a strict diet and can't have it, which is irritating, but food's not going anywhere. I bought 40 pounds of chicken backs, and there was still meat and stuff on there. I threw them in a pressure canner cooker. I added a whole lot of water to it. I got all my chicken broth out of it, strained it all out, got nice. I got like 16 quarts of chicken broth out of it. Put the bones back in the pot, added a little bit more water to it, and re-pressure cooked it. Those bones turned to paste. Or you could squeeze it with your finger and disappeared.
You can grind them.
Yeah, I didn't even grind. I didn't have to grind it. I just ran the spoon around it, and they all broke up. And I could grab any large piece and just squeeze it. I'm like, yeah, we're done. I packed those into pint jars. And I left like an inch of headspace, and as long as there was some broth in there with it, and I threw them back in the canner, and dogs love it. I mean, it tastes like chicken, and it's all the calcium in there is great for them. And the vet said that's not a problem, but it's a lot of chicken. I'm like, okay, he's a German Shepherd. He loves it. So did my lab.
You can even use ground eggshells and put in there. Blueberries are a great fruit to add to your dog food because they're full of anthocyanins. And dogs are mammals, and all mammals need anthocyanins. Dogs are really prone to cancer right now. I don't know why. I don't remember that.
Commercial dog food.
And so anthocyanins are really important to add to their food, just like it is to add to our food. So you want something that's purple. Blueberries are a good one for dogs. No salt.
Pick your own. Pick your own blueberries, or make sure they're organic and purely organic, and haven't been sprayed to death with something that's what's killing dogs.
If you're doing this, I sort of assume that you're going organic anyway. And then also, no fillers. There's a lot of grains added into commercial dog food. And again, grains have been sprayed with glycophosphate, and it's causing, dogs are mammals. It's causing leaky gut syndrome and other things to them the same way it possibly in quotes, can be affecting other mammals.
I've seen several videos by different veterinarians. They don't say possible. They come out and say definitely on it. That's what the vets are saying. We're not. Well, we're not. That's what the vets are saying. We're not supporting.
Do your own research. Do your own research.
But one of them was saying specifically that little yellow is the problem.
I didn't want to go into that because this isn't that thing. Sweet potatoes, I can sweet potatoes for myself and my animals. Sweet potatoes are said by veterinarians that they are very helpful when the dog is experiencing diarrhea because of their high fiber content. So those are great to include in there. Carrots are great to include in there. You just have to watch. I'm not sure what all dogs can't have because I don't have. I know I showed pictures of the dog the other day. I dog sit, but I currently do not have a dog because I'm gone all summer and I wouldn't be fair to the animal. So I do a lot of dog sitting, but I don't have my own right now. But I know that garlic and onions are the two that you should not give them. I can't think of anything off the top of my head else.
Nightshades, cabbages, broccoli, stuff like that. Yeah.
So tomatoes would be a no.
Right. Although my black lab / Great Dane, yes, I had one of those mixes. We adopted him. He literally cleaned my tomato plants off one year.
Mhm.
I went outside to get tomatoes. I'm like, where are the tomatoes? And there's Jack on the ground licking his paws, just seeds all over him. He ate the green ones, he ate the red ones, did not care. He got such a skin rash that summer.
Mhm.
I mean, the acid just absolutely ruined it. He didn't care.
Yeah.
He
So-
didn't know.
So do your research, but the basic 3 ingredients that you should always have in there is some sort of meat for protein, green beans, and brown rice if you're going to use for filler. And yes, I can brown rice. And I know it's not USDA approved, so you could leave that out if you wanted to and add it an extra step to your process or not. But it
I
is
did that with my-
definitely canned in commercial dog food. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I canned rice with my chicken mess like 7 years ago. It was just all the bones. I just re-pressure cooked them and I added rice to it and threw it in a jar. I just left 4 inches of headspace in it because I knew it was going to expand.
Yeah. Now I know a lot of people will go around and ask people for their freezer burnt meats to make dog food, because dogs don't care
Right.
if it has freezer burn taste in there. They don't taste that like we do. And I've never met a dog complain about freezer burn. So a lot of people will ask people for their venison right before they get a new one, harvest a new one, in order to do this canned dog food for their animals.
So I got a bit of trivia for everybody about something that happened in the construction industry. A company was putting in a beef stew manufacturing plant. They were going to compete with Dinty Moore and the big. They were going in hog wild. The subcontractor, not the main contractor, the subcontractor in charge of the installing the rollers on the line got the wrong rollers. They got the rollers filled with industrial grease, not food grade grease.
Oh no.
So the inspector immediately said, "Oh, you cannot use. You got to tear them all out if you want to do human food." As he was going out there, he goes, "But it passes for dog food."
Oh, come on.
So they immediately rebranded, and that's where Alpo dog food came from. It was going to be beef stew for people.
Ah. Well,
Yummy.
fair enough.
Yeah. So that's your bit of trivia about dog food.
Yeah. And they used to take roadkill here and put it in a great big steam canners and can that for animals until they decided that they could not do that. So they can take a lot more
Bacteria.
questionable bacteria laden food that humans can't. But I wouldn't want to can that because I think it would pop the lid. But if you were preparing it fresh being in quotes again, you could do something like that too. If times were tough,
Yeah.
I'd be out there looking for the deer on the road for my.
Yeah.
As long as I knew that deer was still warm and it just got whacked and it wasn't too bad. Yeah, and I've seen that on the side of the road where somebody hits a deer. The next day you drive by, of course, what do they take? The head, the rack, and the back straps. I'm like, really? And they leave the rest of the carcass laying there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
there's a lot that you could use for animal feed there. Chickens
All right.
as well.
Let's see here. I'm gonna get something ready here for in a minute here. Yeah. So there's with getting back to the beef and flavorings, you can experiment. If you have friends who are of a different ethnic background than you, ask them what they would like to season if they were doing it. They may not can at all. Say, hey, I'm doing this. What is good flavors from your ethnic background that I can experiment with? Mm-hmm. And they'll probably and before you can it, try just cooking it up first.
And remember, a canner load maybe 9 quarts. When I do my meatballs, I do 4 or 5 of them in spaghetti sauce and 4 or 5 of them plain. So you don't have to do a canner load of all one thing. You can mix and match because the times are going to be the same.
Yeah.
And it
'Cause you
takes
got
no
beef.
less. It takes no less time to pour the beef broth in there as it does to pour the spaghetti sauce. It really takes no big difference. And so you can have a lot of different things on your shelf from one canner load.
Mhm.
You know, you don't have to have 18 meals of the same thing if you're doing them in pints. You could have 18 different seasoned ground beefs in one canner load.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times we're in this mindset that I have to do the load in all one thing. And you never realize you can do a load with 18 different jars as long as you're doing it for the same time, the correct time.
Yeah. And you can always follow Tammy's recipe for saline solution and do a pint or quart of saline water for medical emergencies.
Yep.
All right. Wow, we're getting here right on time, right? Perfect time. Guys, anybody else got anything in the side chat? Any other things you could suggest for canning ground beef with? Or tips or any chunks or stew meat or whatever?
There's so many plain things you could do, but this is a seasoning thing. I didn't list those.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we got here, generally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I make a lot of my own seasonings, and I leave out the salt and I leave out MSG. I am very sensitive to MSG. So if you see a recipe on my channel, I have a whole playlist of seasonings and pantry items, and none of them have MSG or any other kind of sodium in them.
I
Other
don't
than
even
sea
have
salt.
MSG in my house. I mean, unless
I
it's
don't
in
either.
something my wife bought, in which case, okay, there it is.
Yeah. But if you're buying it from the store, it's all laden with MSG.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. She answered it already, but yes, you can.
Yeah. I do it with my burrito seasoning, and that the burritos in the jar, if you go on the Facebook group, there's 100 different posts about burritos in a jar, and it gives you the proponents for that. For my burritos in a jar, it's the one and only time I use brown rice, just because brown rice cans a little better than white rice. It stays together a little better. I'm not a fan of brown rice, even though it's better for me, and I know I should be. Sometimes we don't like the things that are good for us.
Yeah. All right. Are you going to be doing a live this week?
Yes, I will be going live one afternoon. I can't tell you the day yet. Do not know. It'll be a mystery. It'll pop up. And then Friday night, again, we're still playing with the time, sometime between, like closer to 9. We're trying to do it closer to 9. It just depends on when Fred goes to bed. But that is all channel tips and how to grow your channel. So if you're already an established channel, it's probably not your cup of tea, but if you're just learning, it's for you.
I'm sorry. I got this comment. The last part of it. MSG melt size.
It probably will. It will definitely make your porch smell nice while it does it too.
Yeah.
My mom put accent in everything. That's probably why I'm overdosed on MSG.
I was just thinking, my weird sense of humor here, what Kaylin did there. Okay, so you're going to put MSG out on the salt. You might as well get some of the ghost pepper juice and get some of the real heat out there.
Yeah.
And Moon over Miami just came in. Woohoo!
So Gil, you want to put that on top of your bird seed so the squirrels stay out of it. I don't know if anybody saw my video today, but there was at least 12 squirrels in the yard attacking all the bird seed. The bird seed got damp. The lid came off the tote, so my nephew dumped the bird seed in the yard, and we had 12 squirrels out there fighting over that pile of bird seed.
Harvest time.
So, you don't kill your food preparedness items. You wait until you need them. They are all trained to come to my yard, and they always have been for the last 20 years, and they'll learn their lesson when times get tough for me.
Yeah. All right. So coming up from on my side here, on my other channel, Gray Man Prepping, tomorrow night is large or small caliber, and we're going to be using a lot of code words and dancing around the AI, seeing if we can confuse it. Thursday night is the Midnight Ride, also on Gray Man Prepping. Friday, back here on Camp Patton Family Compound, is spring is almost here. What are you doing to get ready for your garden? Saturday, Survival Saturday on Gray Man Prepping is the beginning of the new series after the event. And so we're going to be talking, I'm now up to, thank you, everybody has been sending suggestions on events. I'm up to November 1st. So all the Saturdays between now and November 1st have a different event. Some of them are serious. Some of them are really, that's not going to, people talk about it and science doesn't match that. But we're going to talk about it anyways, just in case science changes.
Tongue-in-cheek. Those are tongue-in-cheek ones.
Yeah, exactly. Tongue-in-cheek. But a lot of them are serious. Just to give you an idea, after the gold is confiscated, what are your plans? After the Mississippi fault splits, what are your plans? After Yellowstone erupts, what are your plans? After ET arrives, what are your plans? That's one of the tongue-in-cheek ones, after ET arrives.
I can tell you,
here you go, ET, phone home.
I can tell you, I have been spoiled living in town on the major power line for the city where both of the houses I lived in town were on the major feeds to the town. So I never lost power when everybody else lost power, except for twice, one time in each house in 40 years. And coming out here, I've lost power very frequently. What seems like frequently, like 5 times. So that's, frequent for me. And learning to live with that and make sure that I'm more ready because I've been lazy in town.
Hey, Tammy, what's the name of that campground that the food summit's at? Was that Walnut Creek?
No, that's a town. Yeah, I just posted on my Facebook. Well, you're not on my Facebook. I'll send you the link from Facebook.
Yeah, because guess what? I'm going. Our anniversary is Tuesday or Monday, but she can't get off, so we're going to go to dinner the following week. It's our 35th. I'm like, it's a toss-up, honey. I'm either going to this thing the rest of the week and going to dinner, or I'm just going out there. She's like, just go. You wanted to go last year. You didn't go. So
tell her
I want the campground. I'm bringing my tent, my pickup truck, all my freeze-dried food and whatever, and I'm just going to, if I can get my buddy Richard to go with me, great. If not, I don't care. I'll go by myself. I have a good time either way.
I will be there. Courtney and Dustin Wide will be there. My daughter Rebecca will be there. Roberta from Roberta's Artistic Adventures, I'm hoping will be there this year. She's come in the last 2 years with us. So we will have a mini YouTuber meetup.
Cool. All right. And the last one coming up next Monday here. The topic next Monday is canning Q&A.
Nice.
So we're just going to be open for whatever questions you want to ask about it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fantastic, and we'll cover that next Monday. And let's see. Kaylin's trying to get you something more. Tammy needs a power.
I have my Jackery, and I do have. Which I do need the solar panels, but I have my Jackery, no solar panels, and I do have two running generators and one that needs work. I just didn't get them hooked up.
Cool. All right, folks. Any last minute comments here before we wrap this up? Give them a few seconds there. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on my channel, actually I'll put it up here so everybody can see on your channel too. So for my event one, you can send emails there to Camp Patton Family Compound, or if you want something on canning, you can send it to that one or to Tammy at rebelcanners@gmail.com. And yeah, so any topics you have up, we're interested to know what you want to know.
Yes.
So we can impart what we know to you, and also so I can pick these two people's brains out, so I can enlarge my brain here. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping for Tactical Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
Good night.